Yeah, not a problem. Okay.
All right, and just
Okay.
to let everybody know, this is Pastor Bob Dilley from New Beginnings?
New Beginnings Church in Central Point, Oregon, down by the California border.
And we've already done a design discovery meeting for his wife, Brandy, and he's gone through the materials. They have the assessments and the workbooks, and they've looked at this, and they're evaluating this from a standpoint of how to package this compared to other packages. And what we just discussed is of the 4 elements, which is the assessments, the workbook, the DDM, and the graduate training program, and the video series. So actually there's 5, that there would be, we would separate out the DDM, and that an individual would either contact us to get it with the fact that they've bought it through the church and would get a discount of that nature. And then the other 4 elements would be part of how this is packaged to the church itself. And Bob was going to share his other programs that he works with.
Yeah, so my wife and I work with several different programs along with some of the other ministry staff here. One of them that comes to mind, at least the first one, is Laugh Your Way to a Better Marriage by Mark Gungor. What Mark does is, I believe it's an 8-week, I'd have to double check the series length, but it's similar in length to what you're doing, and it includes workbooks, it includes videos, it includes a small group model. So you watch the video either together or separately, and then you go through a small group. And he has something called a flag page at the end, which is an additional assessment that each person can choose to do or not. And to me, that lines up a bit with your DDM, because what it does is you take an assessment and it shows you areas that very specific areas in your marriage, because it's a marriage seminar, that you're on the same page, and areas you may struggle and things like that. Now, what it doesn't include is the one-on-one, which is a little different than what you do, but his model for pricing might apply, which is he packages together a host your own video seminar type package, which includes X amount of workbooks, all the videos, a discount on the assessments that is in the back of each person's book. And you can use that as a church to give this to your own congregation once you've been adequately trained, or you can do it as just a straight small group model too. And I think he charges about $225 for that package as of right now. Now, that doesn't include, I believe, the flag pages, which are their assessment, and but it gives a discount for it. And it doesn't include a one-on-one like your DDM does. He doesn't do anything like that. Now, another ministry that comes to mind is Prepare and Rich.
Can I clarify that price? Is that $225 a person?
Nope, that's $225, but it's not for the whole thing, but it's not for unlimited books. So there's just a certain number of books included with that, and then individual books beyond that. But it includes all the videos, a leader's guide, if needed, as well as several of the others. If you go to markgungor.com, you can assess his pricing model. So I think it's got, let's see. Yeah, it's got something similar to what you're talking about. So I just look at his parts list and see how that compares to what you're thinking. Okay. The other is Prepare and Rich. Now, Prepare and Rich is a little closer to your DDM model. What Prepare and Rich does is they have, they're actually assessments for premarital and marital counseling. And so their model is closer to you guys in that they raise up and equip leaders to be marriage counselors. And then they have a second level of training, which is similar to your graduate stuff, I think,
right,
that allows you to then certify others because you've gone through that process. And then they give you access to a website. You get discounts on the assessments, and you have access to all of their tools to be able to do that either one-on-one with someone or in a small group format. And they've actually come up with a small group curriculum as well. And so all of that, they either give you electronic versions at no charge of several tools, or you can actually buy hard copy printed versions for a particular price. And that would be prepareenrich.com. And I think it's prepare-enrich.com. And so if you were to go there and look at some of their store items. That would give you an idea of what they offer, and it might give you some insight on pricing. I don't see any of your pricing to be way out of line, but the DDM seems a little bit high for an individual or a couple to say, yeah, I'm going to definitely do that, unless maybe with that DDM there was, hey, if you've done this, then you'll get a discount on the graduate sessions later, and then you yourself can actually at some point give these. Just looking at the pricing on it, I think that might be a pushback you would get.
Okay.
Or maybe not a pushback, but you'd probably see less people actually take advantage of that. And it's very, very helpful. So
Right. It would be our goal for those DDMs ultimately to be done by your staff or people that are local to you.
yeah,
And those individuals likely who have counseling. Actually, your wife was a counselor through and through. She
absolutely.
she had probably the most obvious counseling design that I've ever seen.
Yeah, she's really good at that. She's wired that way.
Yes, and so that sort of transfer, if you will, would be ideal. And we people that go through our workshop, they get discounts as part of that, as long as they attend the 8-week workshop and they do their homework and so forth. So the idea of giving discounts makes some sense. As we would transfer that responsibility over to New Beginnings Church, that's something that you would want to keep in mind, because as you know, I mean, even with Brandy, somebody that we didn't have a lot of trauma and drama to deal with as part of the process, it still went 2.5 hours.
Absolutely, so, it's time.
Yeah, it's a lot of time to be able to do that. And but all right, that's actually very, very helpful to be able. I'll have our team look at that and go through that. I think in your particular case, we would definitely want to package the assessments, the workbook, and the graduate training, so that we can prepare you guys to actually move forward in doing that. So right. All right.
No, I think it's great. I think for you guys, as you're thinking, you're forward thinking too, we want to, when we find someone that we think we should ask, had you considered being certified to do this, because it's your wiring, whether it's a single or a couple, that Prepare Enrich, look at how they do that, because they have different levels of certification. And then you can also buy continuing education credits and things like that. So like for us, when we went and learned how to do it, that was a certain cost. And then there was, now we want to be able to certify others. That was another certification and additional cost. And then there was, now we want to be able to do the small group, because that's got its own thing. And that was another cost. And so what it did for us is we were able to go, as we learned, we went, we want to be able to do this for others now. And so then we could go do that. We didn't have to do it all at once.
Right.
So if you look at Prepare Enrich and just go through their store, that might have some helpful things that might be thought-provoking as you guys pray through this. So
okay. Yeah, it's a whole new world with the video series, our ability to be able to do this, because obviously the same graduate training that we're doing now, that can turn into a video series also. All right. I really appreciate you guys. What would you like to do next going forward with us? How would you like to kind of step into this?
Well, I think for us, I'll talk to our other couple and see if we can get them doing, it sounds like they would need to do the assessments workbook and a DDM.
Right.
And then the graduate stuff, maybe when they finish, I don't know if that's something we could do together.
Yeah.
Because that built some cohesiveness between us if they're in, which I think probably will be. It's just a matter of timing. And so what would the graduate course, if we broke that into 4 1-hour sessions, that would involve Zoom meeting between all of us,
right?
I'm guessing. Okay. Right. And then what's the cost on that? You would mention the others and I missed that one, I think.
Right. So there is a cost for the manual, and when we get this uploaded to Amazon, that should go down quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever done a program where you thought, all right, I'm going to charge X amount of dollars, and that's going to be more than enough to cover the cost of the materials that I'm giving out? And
Mhm.
then you actually do it, and you realize that you didn't even cover the cost of materials.
Yeah, you're going backwards a little.
Yeah, that's sort of what happened when I did the first graduate training. Because we didn't have the book published yet, I had to produce those locally and manually, and it wound up consuming the entire cost of the seminar. So it
Oh
was like,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Oh, I
that was
imagine.
a good learning experience. So let me look at that. I do need to get that to you. As far as the actual training, my feeling at this point, Bob, is because we've been working with you guys for a while, that I'm just going to waive the cost of the training for the 4 of you.
Oh, good. That's
So
awesome.
if we redo the training with other people in 2023, that we would, we'll come up with a cost that'll be
Yeah,
reasonable,
yeah.
commensurate with everything else. But I would really prefer just to have you guys cover the cost of the manual itself, so that you have that hard copy resource available
Mhm.
to you. I do have some hard copies lying around, so I could get those out to you. And those wound up costing me, it was about $50 to produce, because there's actually two books involved in it. There is the graduate training book, which is 3 books actually, and then there is another book by an author, Stephen Johnson, that we will include in that. So we'll just ship those off to you guys from our location. And if you
Okay.
cover the cost of that, $50 a pop for the package, then I can get those in your hand, and we can go ahead and move forward from there.
Yeah, let's try that, and I'll talk with our other folks too. And I realistically think it would be after the first of the year sometime, because that other couple is going to help us with another training we start next week.
Okay.
It'll go through the end of the year, and I don't see any bandwidth. And then look at my calendar. Yeah, I think if we would be in good shape, probably just looking at what we have penciled in on the calendar. We would be in good shape for maybe doing the first group. Say it's about an 8-week is what you're foreseeing.
So are you talking about the training of your members of your church, or your
Yes.
core,
Yeah,
four here?
our core, not the core 4. We would probably be able to do something with the core 4 earlier on,
Okay.
but we wouldn't be ready for a small group, just because we are so packed with
Right.
just crazy.
Well, and plus our video
Probably
series
until-
isn't ready till January anyway, at the earliest.
Well, and yeah, for us, the core 4, I would say sometime right after the first of the year, we could maybe look at how we could do that.
Okay.
But for the other, to do an additional group, probably not until, I'm going to say sometime in May. It looks like my extra classes come off our schedule,
Okay.
because we have our small groups are just exploding. So we've had to adjust a ton of things. So we're doing a couple extra classes and group launches, and those will be, well, maybe in March sometime, but yeah, May looks good.
Well, if we could aim for March, because May you start wanting to you're getting people with
Summer.
schools ending in summer, and then your
Yeah.
attendance is going to be much.
And it's 8. Let me so you're saying 8-week. So if I looked at, one sec, I'm going to walk my little calendar over here. Okay, so okay, hold on. 1, 2. Maybe end of February even, but I don't know if that gives us time for the core 4 to do our stuff.
Well,
But-
most of it is going to be done independently, right?
Right.
So the only thing that we need to get everybody together on, as far as coordinating the schedule, is the graduate training,
Okay.
via Zoom. So you've already done the assessments, Bob. You've already seen it with Brandy.
Right.
I'm going to, as part of this kind of group discount here, I'll do the DDMs for your other couple. Obviously, we have to do them individually. but I'll do that with a 33% discount
Okay.
to them.
Okay.
And that will allow us to, and we can do that. I mean, that's just coordinating between our schedules and them. So that won't involve you or Brandy.
Right.
And then if we could get that done by the end of this year, or say first week of January, then we can go directly into the 4 1-hour graduate training sessions.
Okay. Let me see if we can, I'll talk with them and see if they can get that scheduled in. And that might work, because then we could do, I do see us maybe the end of February or early March. End of February might be better if we can get the timing right, because that would finish us up before we go into one other training we've got coming up.
Now, which program we're talking about, the group workshop or the core 4?
The core 4 we would want to have sooner, but we might be able to do a workshop starting into February, early March.
That'd be great.
And that'd finish us up before summer, because we're going to take a lot of all the training stuff in summer goes out the window because everyone's traveling. So,
and that's true with every church. It's like people are gone.
Yeah, they just, starting about June, things start to get a little sketchy until October, pretty much with training stuff. We might be able to get something earlier, but it's hard.
Okay.
So, yep. So I'll write that down, and then I'll shoot you an email. I'll talk to the other couple and see if they're willing and want to put the time in to do that. So what they would need to do, they'd need their DDMs by the end of the year if they can get that done, which is easy enough. That's just a scheduled day, taking the assessments on a scheduled day. And then the other would be they would need to do the workbook and all of that before we start up in maybe February.
So
because they'll have had to have gone through it before they can facilitate it.
Right. So they'll need with that group, and actually this would include you and Brandy too, because I don't know if you actually watched the videos. They would need to do the assessments as soon as possible. Once they have those assessments done, that will allow them to schedule the DDM. Simultaneously, I would have them go through the workbook and watch the video that accompanies that. I don't know if I made that available to you guys, but because we're coming up with this new video series, I'm now making the Zoom videos just available to anybody that wants to take a look at it. So they could actually see what would be part of the new video release by watching the Zoom video recordings that we have online, and do that along with each session in the workbook.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah, shoot me a link for that.
Okay, I will.
Brandon, I haven't seen any Zoom videos, so.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, if you send that over, we can work on that.
Right. And that'll actually give you the core materials that we teach in the workshop that will be represented in the video, in the cinematic video release, and that will kind of give you an idea as to, the workbook is good and is necessary element because of the detailed amount of information we give in the class. The actual training that we give to help believers find the vision of their purpose and to build up that desire to want to pursue their purpose, that's all in the actual Zoom videos that you would be seeing. The workbook in itself doesn't convey that as well as the videos do. So
perfect. Yeah, just send us a link over. We'll look at it.
All right. Feel free to give the couple. What is the couple's name in case they call me?
Well, I have a couple of different ones, but I'm thinking Eric and Brenda Benline. It truly will come down to timing for them.
Okay.
And then I have another couple, John and Heather Hodge. And I may have a few others too, but Eric and Brenda would be my top choice right at the moment. It really will come down to their schedule.
Okay.
So I'll talk with them this week.
All right. Great. Then all we really need then is just have and feel free to give them out my cell number. They can call me directly.
Okay,
so that we can coordinate their order. And I'll need to create that discount code for them so that they can get the DDM at the lower rate.
okay.
All right. You know what? This has been extremely productive, and I appreciate you allowing me to record this
No
part
problem.
of the session so that we can, because I'm going to, my friend Lauren is going to add all kinds of questions for me, and now I don't have to remember every little detail. He'll be able to watch it. And,
Yeah, this probably worked better.
yeah. All right.
All
Very
right, brother.
cool.
Yep.
All right. Thank you. And if you have any questions, reach out.
Will do. Thanks.
All right, Bob. Thanks for your time.
Take care.